Hey Colts, this is Mrs. Aladdin, your principal. I hope that you are doing really well and that you had a great day at school and that you're learning lots and getting to know your classmates and your teachers and just feeling good about school. We're really excited to have you guys back, hopefully sooner than later. But I'm really proud of you and all of our teachers for working hard in this strange learning environment. At any rate, today we're going to keep reading from our book, The One and Only Bob, which is written by Katherine Applegate, and we are on a chapter called Click. So here we go. Click. That's when they started clicker training me. Click, here's a treat. Come closer to the car, Bob. Click, here's a treat. Watch while I open the car door, Bob. Click, here's a treat. Come right up to the seat, Bob. Click, here's a treat. Come on in, Bob. Bob? Bob, where are you, Bob? Yeah, it was like that a lot. Options. Still haven't been in a car or a truck or a tractor for that matter. When I have to go to the Rhymes with Pet Threat, Julia and her parents walk me there. They say elephants have long memories. Well, so do dogs, people. It's not like I'm afraid. I'm just exercising my options. Full wag. Are you ready to head over to the park? George asks as he passes through the living room. He's carrying 2 flashlights and a roll of masking tape. Yep, Julia says, and I do a head tilt to show I'm intrigued by the conversation. The place where Ivan and Ruby live is called Wild World Zoological Park and Sanctuary, but everybody just calls it the park. George works at the park as head groundskeeper, which means I've got some sway. And everybody who's employed there loves Julia. Give me a minute. I just need to grab my coat, says George. Straight home after that, though, Julia, says Sarah, just in case the weather gets worse. One minute, the weatherman's saying that we're going to have a little shower. The next minute, it's the storm of the century. Julia scratches my head. I thought Hurricane Gus wasn't coming till tomorrow. Sometimes they change course, says Sarah. They can be unpredictable. You know, George says with a wink, in the old days, they only named hurricanes after women. Julia groans. That's so sexist. It's not just the wind I'm worried about on this one, George says. It's the storm surge that could be a problem. Flooding. Julia tries to make me wear her mom's latest creation, a knitted dog sweater with security written on it, which I suppose is an ironic reference to my petite size. I politely decline. All right, you win, Julia sighs. Ready for your walk, Bob? At the mention of the word walk, I go all crazy mutt, so it's clear I'm on board with the idea. Humans love it when we get silly. I think they're so weighed down by people problems that sometimes they need to be reminded what happy looks like. Julia attaches my string. I try for a little tug of war, but she refuses to buy it. Let's go see Ivan and Ruby, she says. Just hearing those names sends my tail into full wag. Good words, bad words. I never met a dog who didn't get a big old grin on his kisser when Walk slipped into the conversation. Dogs understand more than you might think. The Nature Channel says we're about as smart as the average human toddler. 2-year-olds, my fuzzy rump. We're a million times brainier than some babbling rugrat. There was a dog on that Man's Best Friend show who supposedly understood like 1,000 human words. Border Collie, I think. Those guys need to switch to decaf. The narrator was gushing about this wonder dog, and I'm like, well, duh, Brainiac, of course we understand people. Not everything, mind you, and some of us are more attentive than others. Depends a lot on just how interesting your humans happen to be. Certain words will really cause our ears to perk up. The classics: treat, walk, frisbee, bacon. And don't forget the swear words, vet. Sorry, that was really funny. So a swear word is like a bad word. So in dog language, according to Bob, it says, and don't forget the swear words, vet, bath, fireworks, and vacuum cleaner. We always hear those. I think that's true. My dogs do not, well, my dog that I have now and my dog that I used to have does not like the vet. They do not like the bath. They do not like fireworks, and they hated the vacuum cleaner. I wonder if there's things that your dogs don't like too. I'm laughing. My son is right here. Ben, would you agree with that? That those are things that our dogs didn't like? Yeah. Now our older dog, the dog we have, Daisy, she's so old, she can't see and she can't hear. So fireworks don't bother her, and she barely even realizes the vacuum cleaner is going. But when she was a puppy or like a little younger, she used to like launch onto the vacuum cleaner. She hated that thing so much. And fireworks used to freak her out really bad too. Anyways, it's kind of funny. I feel like Bob really gets dogs. Okay, this chapter is called Clock versus Moon. Julia and I wait by the front door while George says goodbye to Sarah. I think maybe the hardest part for me about being domesticated, a pet, if you insist, is that I can't control my own schedule. If I had my way, I'd hang out with Ivan and Ruby all day, every day. Unfortunately, humans love their clocks. Dogs, we use the sky to tell time, like any sensible creature. Sky says it's dawn, time to eat. It's noon, time to eat. It's afternoon, time to eat. It's dusk, time to eat. Midnight, time to eat. Point is, it's always time to eat. Dogs have a thing for the moon, too, like wolves and coyotes and our other relatives. No calendars for us. Moon looks like a claw. Moon looks like a pancake. Moon looks like a tennis ball. Moon looks like a claw again. A chunk of time has passed. But humans, nope, that's not enough. It's not a chunk, it's a month. It's not just dawn, it's 6:32 a.m. on a Thursday, and boy, oh boy, we better hurry up and go to the school or go to office or change the baby. But what gives a woof about feeding the poor, starving, sad-eyed, grumbling tummy dog? After a spell, I got used to the comings and goings of Julia and her mom and dad, but it keeps changing. Julia leaves early for school and is gone most of the day. She returns home excited and energized, good sense mostly. But every now and then she comes back smelling a little like me after a visit to the dog trainer, battle-weary and ready to crawl under the covers. Sarah, who was pretty sick for a while, is feeling fine again, thank goodness, but she went back to work and she's away all day too. And George, who has a job at Ivan's place, works 5, sometimes 6 days a week. That means it's just me and the guinea pigs a lot of the time. I have a doggy door and an outside run, but it's not the same as touring the neighborhood with your person. Peeing without a potential audience is like talking to yourself. Sometimes I'm the teeniest bit jealous of Ivan and Ruby. They always have someone around, which is crazy. I know, I'm free and they're not, but there it is. Told you I'm not a saint. I think this is really funny. I'm going to go back a page when it talks about how sometimes Julia, his owner, comes home from school and is excited and energized and feeling great, but sometimes she comes back feeling weary and ready to crawl under the covers. I know I have days like that too. Some days are the best days ever and everything goes great, or every problem can be solved, or there's lots of positive experiences with kids or teachers or parents. And some days it's really hard, and I wonder if you feel that way too. Do you ever have times when you want to just come home and take a nap or take a shower or do something to kind of take your mind off of school? I'll bet that happens sometimes. Just know that that's normal. That happens even for adults when we have to go to work or we go to school. Sometimes it's not always as much fun as other days, but we keep on trying and we always look out for the best. Okay, next chapter is called The Shelter. I know our route to Ivan and Ruby by heart. I can't help tugging a bit, even though I'm not supposed to. It's been a couple of days since I've seen my pals, and I need my friend fix like I need air and water and belly rubs. We don't live far, down to the end of the street, around the corner, a good news source there, and a few more blocks. And here's a picture of Julia walking Bob. I think he looks like he loves her. He's looking at her like he cares about her, and she looks at him like she cares about him too. I love that. When I walk Julia, well, okay, I suppose it looks like she's walking me, but I beg to differ. There's a place we pass that always makes me jumpy and bummed. It's the animal shelter, and I know it's a good place, a space for pets who don't have a safe home of their own. When I was abandoned on the highway, just a few weeks old, a nice cage with a soft towel in it and a bowl of fresh water, well, I would have given just about anything for that. Still, when I walk by and I hear all those desperate barks and meows and squeaks, it gets to me. Sometimes having great hearing is a pain. Thing is, I realize I have a home, and the gang in there doesn't, and I try not to think about stuff like that, you know? I mean, it's not like I can do anything about their tough breaks, right? And in fairness, maybe those animals aren't like me. I've always been resilient, hardworking sort. Maybe some of those guys even made their own bad luck. Don't get me wrong, I try to be a nice guy. I do what I can to make the world a better place, sure. Chat with the guinea pigs, lick the strawberry jelly off Julia's hand, do my wagon dance when the rents come home and make them feel good. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. But it's like I said before, you gotta look out for numero uno. Guess that's why the shelter harshes my mellow. It's just, I'd rather not have to hear those guys every time I walk by. It makes me sad. Reminds me of the bad old days. Okay, next chapter is called Droolius. I knew this guy back when I hung out at the mall with Ivan and Ruby, a nice dog named Droolius. Basic mutt, maybe some lab and golden in there somewhere. He'd done some hard time at a couple of shelters. One of those dogs you knew had seen more than his share of the bad stuff in the world. One ear bitten off, scars, a limp. Droolius lived in his backyard. Winter, spring, summer, fall, chained up mostly. Flies on his food, empty water bowl way too often. Still, he always has a nice word to say when I'd pass him on my daily rounds, checking out the neighborhood trash cans. Once I saw his owner, again that word, step onto the back porch. Droolius was barking, but he had a good reason. A stranger had just passed by. Barking is what we're supposed to do in that circumstance, right? Maybe he's the UPS guy. Maybe he's a serial killer. I mean, come on, we're not the FBI. So anyways, owner came out, big, mean-looking guy, gave Droolius a hard kick with his boot and yelled, "Shut up, you fool," disappeared. Droolius looked at me, kind of embarrassed. We kept talking. A few minutes later, the owner came out again, and he put some towels on a line. Droolius headed over, tail between his legs, cowering, saying, "I'm sorry, I love you, I'm yours, yours, yours," with his whole dog being. The guy completely ignored him and headed back inside. "He's having a tough time," said Droolius when the guy was gone. "He's a jerk," I said, because subtlety is not my strong point. "No, he loves me, he does. He has a funny way of showing it." "Human," said Droolius, licking a sore on his leg. "You know how they can be." "Do I ever? But we got to stay true. Love him, forgive him." I thought about that a lot. "Why, though?" I finally asks. "Why do we have to forgive them?" Droolius looked shocked and then confused, as if I just asked why cheese tastes good. "It just does." "That's the way it is," he said. "That's what we do, Bob." I started to reply, but I managed to hold my tongue, which is not easy for me. It's a very long tongue with a mind of its own. There was no point in making Droolius feel worse than he already did. Later that morning, I found half a turkey sandwich. I gave the whole thing to him. Well, okay, I had a taste first, but still. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of animals that aren't well cared for. Maybe you've even seen that happen before. But hopefully you take care to love on your pets, whether they're dogs or cats or birds or hamsters or guinea pigs or turtles, whatever you have. They're there to give you love and joy, and hopefully you can return it to them, even when they don't make the best choices. Can I tell you a funny story? When my dogs were really little, I was living in Las Vegas and I was selling my house. And this was when my oldest son was just a baby. And my dogs chewed open my entire couch and love seat. 2 couches, a big couch and a kind of a small couch. They ate through every cushion. They pulled out all the fluff and they spread it all over the living room. And the person that was trying to help me sell my house called me and said, "Mrs. Aladdin, it looks like it snowed in your house." And it was my dogs. And I could have been angry at them, but instead we just cleaned it up and we made it right. And we loved on them and bought them some more chew toys because clearly they needed some chew toys. So hopefully even when your pets make some poor choices, you're able to see the positive and realize they're just looking for love and attention and then try to give that to them. So anyways, it's time to go. I hope you have a great night and I will see you tomorrow with some more from the one and only Bob. Have a great day, Colts. Bye.